afternoon, all of you. So the chapter means the last chapter was completed, Salim and Tansin. Now we are starting a new chapter today, that is Mahabalipuram. Fine. See the name. Some of you may be knowing about Mahabalipuram. It is a historical place. Fine. Means so many statues can be found there, and people go to visit this place who are interested in ancient sculptures. जिन लोगों को ancient sculptures में interest होता है, sculptures is called old statues. Fine. People who are very much interested in ancient sculptures, they visit this place and they enjoy a lot. Fine. Right now we will discuss what is the basic thing that is told in this chapter. Mahabalipuram, known widely as Mahabalipuram, was a port city of the ancient Pallavas kingdom based on Kanchipuram. A stroll around the world heritage listed temples and carving fires the imagination, especially at sunrise or sunset. Dr. Chitra Madhavan, a well-known historian and a researcher who has written many books on the monuments and temples of South India, takes us through some of these astounding structures created and built in the 7th and 8th century. See, these sculptures and these statues were made in 7th and 8th century. We are living in 21st century. So how old these sculptures are, you can imagine. 13th or 12th centuries ago, 14 centuries ago, these were made. Means 14th century means 14,000 years ago, 1400 years ago. Fine. So we can think that how old these statues are. What they are telling, Mahabalipuram, known widely as Mahabalipuram. Its old name was Mahabalipuram, and it is widely known as, means the people who live in that area, that they call it Mahabalipuram, but it is widely known, means all over the India it is known as Mahabalipuram. Mahabalipuram was a port city. Port क्या होता है? What is a port? Yes. What is a port?
Ma'am, in which
place where the ships who sail in sea comes and wait, they unload their things, they go from there only, as like bus stand and railway station. If we are taking an example, bus stand. What is a bus stand? Where buses comes, they just get down the passengers and they take the other passengers and go on their journey again. Port is a place where ships comes, they just leave their things and passengers, crew बोलते हैं, ship पर जो traveling करने वाले passengers होते हैं, that is called crew, and they again go on their traveling, they again go on their visit from that place only. So that place is called port. So Mahabalipuram is a port city. ऐसा एक सिटी है जहाँ पर बहुत सारे ships आते हैं और वहाँ से जाते हैं. Fine. It for city of ancient Pallavas kingdom based on Kanchipuram. It is a city of ancient Pallavas kingdom. Pallavas kingdom में city, ये वाला city consider किया जाता है, and based on Kanchipuram. It is based on Kanchipuram. A stroll around the World Heritage listed temples and carvings fire the imagination. A stroll is called when we are going on a walking. So when someone goes on a walking, someone walks around these World Heritage listed temple है, means World Heritage में list किया गया इन वाले temples को और carvings को. If we stroll around them, if we go on a walking, if we walk around that area, fires the imagination. Means we can see that how strong the imagination was, who has built these temples, who has built these sculptures, especially at sunrise and sunset. When we walk around this area at the time of sunset or sunrise, then we can imagine that how beautiful they look like. Dr. Chitra Madhavan, a well-known historian and a researcher who has written many books on the monuments. There was a doctor whose name was Chitra Madhavan, and she was a historian also. Means she was very much very much interested about the history, and she was a researcher also. Means she was having an interest in new researches, which has written many books. She has written many books on the monuments because she was a historian. That's why she was very much interested in history and the monuments also. So she has written so many books on monuments and temples of South India. As her name is telling us, I think she was belonging to South India. That's why she has written so many books on South India's temples. It takes us through some of these astounded structures. With the help of this chapter, with the explanation of different monuments, she is taking us with her. She is taking us on a journey where on these astounding structures, astounding means surprising structures है ये, देखकर सरप्राइज हो जाते हैं लोग. Created and built in the 7th and 8th century. These monuments are made in 7th and 8th century. Now we are coming to the chapter. Here we are at Mahabalipuram to see the beautiful rock-cut caves and temples built by the Pallavas kings and rulers. Here we are. Writer is saying her name was, that lady Chitra
Dr.
Madhavan.
Madhavan.
Chitra Madhavan is telling us about Mahabalipuram. She is saying here we are at Mahabalipuram to see the beautiful rock-cut caves and temples built by Pallavas kings and rulers. So in this chapter we are going to read about the rock-cut caves. Rock-cut caves. What is rock-cut caves? Caves that are made after cutting the rocks. Means rocks को cut करके caves बनाई हुई है. Rock क्या होता है? A big piece of stone. And cave is called गुफा. Means बड़े-बड़े pieces को काट कर, बड़े-बड़े stones के pieces को काट कर गुफाएं बनाई हुई है. And temples बनाए हुए हैं. Built by the Pallavas kings and rulers जो earlier ancient India में थे, they have got it made. उन्होंने बनवाए हैं ये वाले caves temples. Fine. So we are going to read about that. Arjuna's penis. Penis is called austerity or तपस्या, you can say. Arjuna's penis means कैसे वो तपस्या करता वो उन्हें दिखाया गया है अर्जुन को. You know what you may be knowing about Arjun? Who is Arjun?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Arjun was the son of Rani Kunti in Mahabharata.
Yes. And he was a Pandav. Fine?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
were 5 brothers. Fine? So you know about Arjun. अर्जुन की तपस्या को शो करता हुआ, अर्जुन की ऑस्टेरिटी और पीनेस को शो करता हुआ एक स्टैचू बनाया गया है. दैट वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न अबाउट. वी कैन सी एन एनॉर्मस रॉक विद द मोस्ट इंट्रिकेट कार्विंग. दैट इज द बेस्ट स्टोन वर्क इन महाबलीपुरम. In fact, it is one of the greatest works of medieval art in India. Carved around a natural gap in a huge granite boulder, the bas-relief sculpture spills over with scenes from Hindu folklore and everyday life. There is a figure near the top of the carving standing on one leg. Just a minute. rock. Enormous is called, that is a huge and big. We can see, we are describing here Arjuna's penance. Fine. So they are saying, means the writer is saying that it was an enormous rock. It is a big rock. You may have seen that. Have you seen that statue that is means Arjuna's statue that is made out of SMS Stadium in Jaipur? How many of you have seen that? देखा है किसी ने वो स्टैचू? ऐसे मतलब एक बो एंड एरो लेकर खड़ी हुई है जो स्टैचू. हैव यू सीन दैट?
Yes, ma'am.
So that kind of big statue, more big than that. That is bigger than that. Fine. So we can see an enormous rock. Means that a big or huge rock with the most intricate carving. Intricate is called, that is means small carving. छोटे छोटे नक्काशी की गई है, carving की गई है, मतलब एक तरह से नक्काशी की गई है उसमें. That is the best stonework in Mahabalipuram. महाबलीपुरम का ये बहुत अच्छा सबसे बेस्ट स्टोन वर्क है इस वाली स्टेचू में. इनफैक्ट इट इज वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट वर्क्स ऑफ मेडाइवल आर्ट इन इंडिया. इनफैक्ट इफ वी वांट टू से इट इन रियलिटी, इट इज द ग्रेटेस्ट वर्क्स ऑफ मेडाइवल आर्ट. मेडाइवल पीरियड जो था उसका सबसे ग्रेट वर्क है, ग्रेटेस्ट वर्क, and carved around a natural gap in a huge granite. Natural gap. What is a natural gap? A space between two mountains. Mountains के बीच में जो gap होता है, that is called a natural gap. तो एक natural gap है, बीच में एक gap है, वहां पर ये स्टैचू बनाई गई है. In a huge granite boulder. ग्रेनाइट की बहुत बड़ी स्टोन है, उसके ऊपर इस बोल्डर को मींस उस स्टैचू को बनाया गया है. द बेस रिलीफ स्कल्पचर स्पिल्स ओवर विद सीन्स फ्रॉम हिंदू फोकलोर. बेस रिलीफ स्कल्पचर क्या है? अ फॉर्म ऑफ स्कल्पचर इन विच ए सॉलिड पीस ऑफ मटेरियल इज कार्व्ड so that objects project from a flat background. A form of sculpture, एक flat piece of stone, a flat piece of solid piece of material कोई भी material हो. Here they have taken, here in this chapter they have taken the solid piece of material that were rocks. So they have taken rocks, and rocks are carved in different shapes to objects projected from a flat background. Flat background से उन्हें कार्व्ड कर के इतना कार्विंग किया जाता है कि वो स्टैचू बन जाते हैं लास्ट में. फाइन. So bas relief sculpture वो होते हैं. So they were having some flat pieces of stones, some carved pieces of they were having some flat pieces of stones in that area, and they carved those flat pieces into sculptures. Means according to Hindu folklore. Folklore क्या होता है? फोक टेल्स जैसे होती है, मीन्स उस एरिया की जो टेल्स होती है, कहानियां होती हैं, उनको बोलते हैं फोकलोर. एंड एवरीडे लाइफ, एंड दीज स्टैचूज शो एवरीडे लाइफ स्टैचूज आल्सो. देयर इज अ फिगर नियर द टॉप ऑफ कार्विंग स्टैंडिंग ऑन वन लेग. नियर द टॉप ऑफ कार्विंग मीन्स इस कार्विंग जहां पर ये कार्विंग किया गया है, मीन्स उस स्टैचू पे जो बहुत ही ह्यूज स्टैचू है, बहुत ही एनॉर्मस स्टैचू है, उस फिगर में एक फिगर दिखाया गया है, एक स्टैचू बनाई गई है, एक मैन की स्टैचू बनाई गई है, दैट इज स्टैंडिंग ऑन वन लेग. जो मैन एक ही पैर पर खड़ा हुआ है इन दैट स्टैचू. नाउ see, this is that kind of statue we are having. This one leg, he is standing on one leg, and the second leg is on his thigh. Fine. This is said to be Arjuna doing penance and praying to Shiva to grant him a powerful weapon to use in the Mahabharata war. Another interpretation of the panel is that the figure is that of sage Bhagiratha, who did severe penance to obtain Shiva's help in bringing the river Ganga to earth. See, about this statue, two kinds of thinkings are there. Fine. Two kinds of thinkings are there. One of the group calls it, one of the groups calls that it is the statue of Arjuna who is doing penance. But the another group is saying that this is the statue of sage Bhagiratha. Fine. So we are going to read. This is said to Arjun. This is said to be Arjuna who doing penance and praying to Shiva to grant him a powerful weapon to use in the Mahabharata war. So ऐसा कहा जाता है, it is said by a group of people that this statue belongs to Arjuna and who was doing prayer to God Shiva, Lord Shiva. Why he was praying? Because he wanted to get a powerful weapon. Weapon means एक बहुत पावरफुल, बहुत ही शक्तिशाली, यू कैन से द एनर्जेटिक वेपन. वेपन मीन्स होता है हथियार. फाइन. सो ही वांटेड दैट, ही वांटेड टू गेट फ्रॉम, ही वांटेड दैट wish from Shiva, Lord Shiva. So that he wanted to use in Mahabharata war. Another interpretation, दूसरी क्या थिंकिंग है, दूसरे ग्रुप की क्या थिंकिंग है, another interpretation of the panel means दूसरे पैनल की क्या थिंकिंग है, that this figure is that of sage Bhagiratha. This figure doesn't belong to Arjuna. This, according to them, this figure belongs to sage. Sage is called साधु जो होता है, साधु भागीरथा मीन्स भागीरथा ऋषि जो थे उनका बनाया हुआ है, उनकी स्टेचू है ये. Who did severe penance, who has gone for severe penance means एक बहुत ही टिपिकल वाली तपस्या की थी उन्होंने to obtain Shiva's help in bringing the river Ganga to earth. And why did he go for penance? Why did he do that penance? Because he wanted Lord Shiva's help to bring Ganga on earth. Earlier it was shown that Ganga lives in Shiva's hair. Shiva's hair. Is it believed? Do you know about that? हाँ जी.
Yes, ma'am.
So हमारे जो सेज भागीरथा है, he did a penance. He did typical penance because he wanted that Lord Shiva give him a boon, एक आशीर्वाद दे कि रिवर गंगा जो है धरती पर आ जाए. फाइन. So this was all about today's class. We will continue the chapter tomorrow because the time is over. Fine. We will meet tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am.